500 years ago, Guru Nanak died, and yet somehow it feels like he's speaking to us today. In a land torn by caste, ritual, and religious division, a voice rose, gentle, fearless, revolutionary. There is no Hindu, there is no Muslim, there is only human. That voice belonged to Guru Nanak, a humble trader from Punjab who, 500 years ago, started a spiritual revolution that would become Sikhism, a faith of equality, courage, and relentless compassion. This is the story of the Sikhs. In 1469, in a small village near Lahore, now Pakistan, a boy was born. They named him Nanak. We know little about his early life, except that he was born a Hindu in a time and place where being a Hindu meant you were born into a rigid social hierarchy, your fate decided by birth, your skin color, what you could eat, whom you could marry, even whom you could be friends with. All decided for you. But young Nanak didn't accept it. As a teenager, he started questioning everything. What is the point of these rituals? How can God be all-knowing and still send people to hell? He found no answers. So he left home. He walked barefoot for miles to seek out holy men and gurus, hoping they could end his doubts. But even they failed to answer his questions. So Nanak did something nobody had done before. He looked within himself. He meditated, he prayed. And eventually, at age 30, something remarkable happened. He had a vision. God spoke to him. "Nanak," he said, "you have sought many, but I am within you and you shall be my voice." From that moment, Nanak Dev Ji, the man, became Guru Nanak, the spiritual master. And he had a message for everyone. There is no Hindu. There is no Muslim. There is only human. Now, how do you fight an empire of beliefs with a whisper? Well, by traveling 60,000 miles on foot across India, Tibet, Arabia, even Baghdad, Nanak walked everywhere, meeting kings and commoners, saints and sinners. He debated Muslim scholars on the oneness of God. He fed the hungry. He challenged the powerful. He healed the sick. And wherever he went, he attracted disciples, people who loved and respected him. When he died in 1539, he didn't leave behind a throne, a temple, or even a single written text. Instead, he left something far more valuable, a path to enlightenment. But the question was, who would carry it forward? To answer that, Guru Nanak summoned his followers and gave them a name. He called them Sikhs, students of truth. The very word meant seekers of wisdom, not priests or elites. Guru Nanak wanted to inspire everyone, and so his successors continued his work. But as the Sikhs grew in numbers, so did their challenges. The Hindus viewed them as outsiders, the Muslims as heretics. Emperor Akbar tried to convert them. When they refused, he imprisoned them. So in 1588, the second guru, Guru Arjan, fled to the hills of Punjab and established a small town called Amritsar, the city of immortality, around a sacred pool of water. Legend says the water had miraculous healing powers. Eventually, that pool became the most important shrine in Sikhism, the Harmandir Sahib, or the Golden Temple. But the Sikhs weren't supposed to be a closed community. Guru Arjan compiled a scripture that included writings from Hindu and Muslim saints because he believed truth had no religion. But this, too, led to problems. By the year 1606, Emperor Jahangir, drunk on power and paranoia, arrested Guru Arjan and tortured him to death for refusing to convert. His son, Guru Hargobind, watched helplessly from a distance. But his father's martyrdom lit a fire inside him. He would not submit. And so he started wearing two swords, one for spiritual power and one for temporal justice. He built the Akal Takht opposite the Golden Temple, declaring both shrines equally important. For the Sikhs, prayer was no longer enough. They had to protect themselves and others. The call to arms was sounded, and by 1630, the Sikhs had become an organized force, but the empire was still standing. So Guru Hargobind made sure to prepare his son for what lay ahead. He named him Gobind, meaning intimidator of evil, and the burden of that name would soon fall upon him. By 1667, the Mughal emperor Aurangzeb had destroyed countless temples and mosques. He turned north toward the Golden Temple, which meant only one thing. Guru Gobind Singh was barely 7 years old when he saw his father, Guru Tegh Bahadur, dragged to a public square in Delhi and beheaded for defending the right of Hindus to worship. All around him, other Sikh leaders were being bricked alive, hanged, or burned alive. So Guru Gobind ran away, hiding in the hills of Punjab. There, in a small village called Anandpur, he gathered the Khalsa, the brave ones, and prepared them for war. But on Baisakhi Day in 1699, he did something no one expected. He went to the outskirts of the village, drew his sword, and asked for volunteers willing to die for their faith. One by one, 5 men stepped forward. He took them into a tent and emerged with all 5 men walking out alive, bathed, transformed. They became the Panj Pyare, the beloved 5, the first members of the Khalsa. And then Guru Gobind gave them a new identity, new customs, kesh, uncut hair, symbolizing acceptance of God's will; kangha, a wooden comb for self-discipline; kara, a steel bracelet for restraining their minds; kakra, cotton undergarments for self-control; and kirpan, a sword for defending the weak. And a new surname, Singh, lion, for men, and Kaur, princess, for women. No more caste names, no more social hierarchy. Just one family, one faith, one fearless spirit. The announcement sent shockwaves across the empire. The next year, 30,000 Sikhs followed Guru Gobind into battle against the Mughals. They were outnumbered 10 to 1, but they didn't care. Many died, but the survivors kept coming back, not as an army, but as guerrillas. In the end, the emperor overestimated the strength of his empire, and the Sikhs overestimated the strength of their armies. But neither won any decisive battles. Instead, they fought for decades until the empire collapsed, leaving the Sikhs exhausted, fractured, and leaderless. But their fighting days were not over. By 1799, a former Khalsa warrior named Maharaja Ranjit Singh had unified Punjab and founded the Sikh Empire, a kingdom where Hindus, Muslims, and Sikhs served side by side. He crowned himself not in gold, but in humility, placing the Guru Granth Sahib on the throne beside him. Under his rule, the Golden Temple was plated in gold and became the radiant symbol we know today. But it was also a beacon for all the world to see. As the 19th century progressed, European powers carved up India, and the Sikhs found themselves under British rule. At first, the Sikhs supported the British East India Company. They helped capture the fortress city of Ludhiana in 1849. But the feeling was not mutual. During the First Anglo-Sikh War, the British used superior firepower to crush the Sikhs, killing thousands. They retaliated during the Second Anglo-Sikh War, but were defeated again. After the Second War, Britain annexed Punjab, and Sikhism lost its temporal power. But it gained something far more precious: its identity. It was then that Sikh soldiers began joining the British Indian Army. And in 2 world wars, over 83,000 Sikh soldiers died, fighting for a crown that had conquered them. Why? Because the Sikh code demands protect the weak, defend justice, serve humanity, no matter the flag. The paradox remained: Sikhs seeking purpose outside their homeland, fighting for a state that denied them independence. Back home, the wounds of partition still festered. In 1984, India's Prime Minister ordered the army to storm the Golden Temple to flush out militants. As tanks rolled into the holiest shrine, hundreds of pilgrims died. Months later, she was assassinated by her Sikh bodyguards. In retaliation, mobs killed 3,000 Sikhs in Delhi in 3 days, while police watched. It was a terrible chapter, one that no amount of forgiveness can truly erase. Yet Sikhs did not turn to hatred. They turned to service. Sikh temples, gurdwaras, began serving free meals to all, no questions asked. The langar halls welcomed everyone, regardless of caste, creed, or gender. In floods, earthquakes, pandemics, Sikh volunteers were first on the ground. In America, Canada, the UK, Sikh truckers, doctors, teachers, soldiers quietly shaped society. They stood out, not because they were different, but because they dared to be real. The turban? Not a costume, a crown of responsibility. The beard? Not fashion, a vow of naturalness. The kirpan? Not a weapon, a symbol. I will stand when others kneel. Today, 500 years after Guru Nanak's death, the Sikhs are scattered across the globe. But their story is still being written. It's the story of a people bound by faith, tempered by fire, forged in freedom. They may not have conquered empires, but they've conquered hearts. They may not have built pyramids or palaces, but they've built one of the most resilient spirits in the world. This is the history of the Sikhs, and it's still being written.